Namo Buddhaya, my friends. Wasare Bhante. My friends, just as a summary for what we have learned last week, we were doing the Noble Eightfold Path, the last factor, which is right concentration. We were discussing the first jhana. We discussed it the week before, but last week we were discussing about the second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana. Before that, I would like to explain the jhana is when we follow the Noble Eightfold Path. So the seven factors of the Noble Eightfold Path that support the eight factors. So the seven factors are right view, right intention, right action, right speech, right livelihood, right effort, and right mindfulness. Now, if we practice those seven, then we will get the right concentration. So the right concentration meaning it's four jhanas. First jhana means, first of all, we need to have two factors before that. Viviccheva kamehi, vivicca kusalehi dhammehi, meaning we secluded from sensual pleasure and then secluded from unwholesome state. Then we enter into the first jhana. In the first jhana, there are five factors. We have applied thought. I think Bhante said anchor point. That's what Bhante says. We have the anchor point, and then we continue with the anchor point. Then when we do that continuously and the concentration is very focused, then we get this piti. Piti means rapture, happiness in the mind, mental happiness. And then after that, following that, the body becomes tranquil, it's sukha. Then the mind becomes concentrated, that's ekagata. So those are five factors for the first jhana. Then when we go to the second jhana, the concentration becomes even more subtle. Then in the second jhana, by the way, the first jhana, the concentration arise because of the seclusion of the mind. So because the mind doesn't have these defilements, so then we attain that first jhana. Now the second jhana is different. The second jhana is more subtler. We don't have the vitakka, the applied thought and the sustained thought. So second jhana, we only have the rapture, mental happiness, bodily happiness, and then the ekagata. So, and the second jhana, it's called samadhijam piti sukham, meaning the piti, the rapture and the happiness born from the samadhi, meaning from the concentration of the mind. Then following after that, the concentration becomes deeper and deeper. Then the Bhante said in the third jhana, when we attain into the third jhana, though we feel also like the piti, the rapture in the mind, creating that vibration, a little vibration there. So we don't want that too. So then in the third jhana, as we become so focused in our object of meditation, we also give up that rapture. So the rapture meaning the mental happiness. That's piti. So in the third jhana, we have, I think the third jhana, we have three factors.
No, third jhana means the sukha and the ekagata,
Okay.
that happiness and the concentration. And then the fourth jhana means the letting go of the happiness. And previously letting go it says that Sukhasacha dukkhasacha, letting go the happiness and letting go the sadness, that means physical. Pubbeva somanasa domanasana attangama. Beforehand, mental happiness and the sadness, letting go those two. So domanasana attangama adukkha, no sadness, no sad feelings, and that physically, and asukha, no physical happiness even. dukkhaṃ asukham upekkhā sati parisuddhiṃ. Fully neutral mind, neither happiness or no sadness, full concentration, upekkhā sati parisuddhiṃ taṃ chatutta jhāna upasampajja viharati. So that's what the fourth jhana. So while saying this, can anyone of our group remember the four what we call analogies, what Buddha said regarding these four jhanas? Let's ask, what is the analogy Buddha gave for the first jhana?
If I remember, I think this is the first one. It's when it's the feeling of mixing like soap with water and getting like a really good like mixture of like a frothy mixture of soap suds of mixture of the soap and the water.
Yeah, it's well mixed, not no dipping water. Also, it's like for the nowadays example, since now we go to the shop and the stores and we buy soap and there is no such a thing or the body wash, so that's different in the compared to those days. So nowadays we can think it's like a dough when you make a with flour and the water you mix it, so likewise, so that the rest happiness which comes because of the seclusion and the no defilements, that rest happiness, it's all over the body. So that's the first analogy. So what can anyone remember the second analogy also?
I think the second analogy was about the lake that is not fed by the river, outside the rivers or creeks, but it's rather fed by internal sources of water and internal springs.
Very good. So it's like it's like a spring lake. So the water is not coming from outside, just within it. Because of the springs, water comes. So likewise, because of the inner that concentration, that happiness just rising within themselves. So that's the second one. Okay, the third one.
The lotus flower.
Right.
That has not yet it's like in the lake, but it hasn't really come out of the lake yet.
Right. It's in the lake. It's really not can come out of the lake. So all over the water. So it's like under the water. So like I said, the happiness covered all over the body. So when Buddha saying that when these concentrations, Buddha teaches these concentrations, says that that there shouldn't be a single place where you do not that happiness has not reached. So likewise, it's like basically being happy for no reason. Actually, there is a reason. I mean, instead of doing some things, so just rising. Okay, so the fourth jhana analogy.
The fourth jhana, the analogy is it's like a person completely wrapped in a pure white cloth. It's the fourth jhana talks about. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Abandoning pleasure and pain. You purified like mindfulness. You've reached equanimity. Yeah.
Very good. Good. So that's the analogy for the fourth jhana. That fully pure mind you have. So that's the real adukkhama sukha feeling, which means that no sadness or the happiness. So it's like the full neutral feeling. That's where Buddha says. So those are the places where you can like reflect, like you can do the insight meditation properly to let go the attachment to the five aggregates. You can clearly break form to form, feeling to feeling. This is perception, this is volitional formation, and this is concentration, and then understanding this impermanence and suffering and no self in that. That's how the meditator reach to that freedom. So that's how it is. So Yeah, pretty good. So today, when you learn, you can have a small note, or you can go through the recording, or you can go through the summary. So then you can we prepare for the next class. So then we have Dhamma summary and discussion from the group. So Buddha says that if anyone would like to attain the Nibbana, the supreme bliss of happiness, he should practice 4 things, which is Kalena Kalang, Dhamma Savana means that listening to the teachings of the Buddha, which we do that. Dhamma Sakacha, and the discussing. So the nice of the Buddha's teaching is that Buddha saying that no one, even no one need to protect his teachings also, like defend also. He's saying what's existing in the world. So it's open to discuss. And third thing is the samatha, the concentration meditations. The fourth one is the vipassana, the insight meditation. So we do concentration and the vipassana even at the in-person meditations and even online meditations. So then we have the 4 things what Buddha said us to practice. Okay, while saying this, let's formally start today's class. Bring your palms together to pay respect to Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay our respect to our teacher, Pinwat Loko Swamin Wahanse. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, we learned in 4 foundation of the mindfulness about the difference, like if anyone would like to attain the peace of state Nibbana, he should see this body as body, feelings as feelings, perceptions as perceptions, and mind phenomena as mind phenomena, instead of framing I or me or myself in it. So what we suffer, what we worry in this world, all of those have that framed idea of that this person hurt me, to my family, or something belong to me. So when we improve our insight, we see this world beyond what we see as a regular human being. So when we see this world, we can realize that this world is not, so we don't see the world as it is, we see the world the way we see. So you may have heard that I more often share that there is a developed a theory, Harvard professor, ladder of inference. So it's like we see the world the way we project things. Like if you're angry, you see world in a certain way. If you have full of loving kindness, you see the world in that way. If you have gratefulness and gratitude, you see the world in that way. If you feel like hurt and your mind is with selfishness, you see the world in that way. So it's like we see the world with using different glasses. When we improve our insight and knowledge, we can go beyond that and we can see how we see the world from different glasses. So what happens when we see that? So we see the uselessness of that stick into even a single point of view. When we do this practice, first we need to let go the wrong things, like not righteous things, which create regret, like which create problems to you and to the others. So why so? When we have a mind with full of regret and wandering with the thoughts, we don't have clarity to see this world as it is, and also it will create bad karma. The bad karma ruins our vision almost up to not to see the world as it is. So once we let go that, then we doing the righteous things which don't create regret in you. With that, when you improve your clarity, you see this world. Because of loving kindness, I see this world like this. When I lose my loving kindness, I see the world in this way. So it's like we see our point of views. So then, to bring this to our daily practice, so we need kind of a proper practice. So that proper practice is the what we call the practicing on 4 foundation of the mindfulness. So in there we learned different meditations, Anapanasati or the breathing meditation, meditation on posture, Iriyapata. We learned about Sati Sampajanya, being mindful while doing the other works in our daily life, Sampajanya, and then we learned the asubha or the impurities of this body parts and not to attach to this body and let go that frames of lust. And then of course there is another teaching, you may have briefly gone through that, the 4 elements. So seeing this body breaking into 4 elements. So in that part we are not talking about the mind, but the consciousness also we can categorize as an element. So but in today class we are learning the 4 elements. So when we say the 4 elements, so which means that the purpose is, remember we need to know the purpose. So it's like this, if there is a good teacher, instead of just teaching us letters or some sort of like teaching a theory, first teacher shows us the scope of the syllabus. This teaching lead you to this destination. We are learning this for this purpose. Then we do not feel like we lost in somewhere. We know that we are learning this to this purpose. We know the whole scope what we are learning. In the same way, we need to remember we see this body in 4 elements not for anything but to let go that frames which creates me as me or mine or myself. So when we see this body, so this body has 4 elements, so mainly, so that is we call the Patavi Dhatu, earthly element, and Apo Dhatu, water element, and Tejo Dhatu, heat element, and Vayu Dhatu, air element. So this is the way back then maybe people see the body as it is. So nowadays we see that it's like energy and the 3 levels. I don't know how to bring it in English. Like in the materials, it has the 3 things based on the. It has energy. If it is less energy, it may solid, and when it absorb more energy, we say the solution, and then we say the air. So basically, it's like the elements and the energy. So this body is breaking into 4 parts. Buddha giving an analogy to understand that. So it's maybe this is a common thing back then in the country. People have seen more often. Giving an analogy like a butcherman after killing a cow, breaking that cow's body into different parts. So likewise, seeing this body with different parts. So, since example, I think that we see a car. When we see a car, we know that okay, this is a BMW, this is our Mustang, this is a Toyota, so whatever. So you know this is the car. So when we frame it like a car, eventually it gives the value also that okay, he's coming in a BMW X7. Oh, most recent vehicle, one of my vehicle must be a super wealthy person. Oh, he's just coming from very old Toyota. So likewise, we have different frames and ideas. So likewise, so we have different frames with that. So, but if someone break it to like, okay, like turn it to parts, this is the tires and then the whole body. So different parts. So when there are parts are all around, we don't say it's a vehicle. We say it's a part. It's the maybe parts of the vehicle, or someone say maybe it's spare parts. So likewise. So likewise, we breathe and see this body in that way, to let go all the attached frames which we created. So what is the benefit of that? So the one benefit is, you may have seen some people get like, the first of all, body shaming is a very bad thing. No one should do that, but people do that. When someone says something to their body, they feel super upset about that. And if when they see that their body, that the hair is no longer the black, they feel super upset about that. And they feel like the whole world is collapsing. So when they see that body is not functioning as they wish. So, but when you let go that I in that frame, and when you accept the nature of this, okay, this body has decaying and dying, is the part of this body. And when you let go that frame and see this, okay, this has a earth element, which means that there are parts after we die, or this when the consciousness is no longer here, it infused or join with the water, join with the air, join with the heat. So when we see them that way, that help to let go that frame of I, mine, and myself. So when even beforehand that happened to this body, if someone let go that attachments, he's a person living with full of freedom in his life. Why? So he is not against any probability which can happen in the world. He's ready to accept that thing. That if you can remember, if there are anyone who's wearing glasses, if you can remember the first day you realized you can't see like others see, how much pain it create. I can remember when I was in grade 8, one who checked, and the person said that out of 24 you see 6. So then I was like, what? So then I was like, my whole world is at that time like collapsing in front of me, like, so is this getting worse, and am I going to blind in 20 or so? That's sort of like a insecurity created in myself. But I used to that, and then how the attachments create in our mind, then instead of worrying of that, my mind was, okay, I should have the best frame to in my glasses. So it doesn't matter, it take a couple of bucks also, but it's better to have the best. See, that's how the mind is. So to be honest, anyone may have these sort of feelings. So even if you happen to go to a wheelchair, then we may think that the branded wheelchair at some point. So likewise, but instead of that, if we can, okay, it's okay to afford. If you can afford, please afford and buy that. But that does not help us to overcome from the sufferings which comes because of the attachment. So if we accept all the probabilities, then it's like, it's the part of life. It's just an incident. So like sun rises, we don't disagree with that. When that storm coming, we don't disagree with that, but we prepare with take all the salt and everything, and that's right. It's a part of the life. We are not rejecting, and we are not fighting, and we don't take a sword and be in front of the front yard to fight against the storm. No one does that. So that's how. So it helps us to accept. What is the benefit? Once you accept, you do not suffer mentally, and it keep your health. You will be a healthy person, and you'll be the happiest person among your family, among your group, because you do not against with the probabilities which can happen in the world. Okay, that's the summary. That's the end of the syllabus. So now we can dive into the sutta. In here, I need our dear Dhamma friends help to read this for me. It says the Punacha param bhikkhave bhikkhu imameva kayan yatatitan yata panihitan dhatuso pacha vekkati. Can anyone read the English one for me?
Furthermore, mendicant examines their own body, where the placement or position according to the elements. In this body, there are earth element, the water element, the fire element, and the air element.
Right. Atti masmin khaye patavi dhatu, apo dhatu, tejo dhatu, ayo dhatu. That's what say. In this body, there is earth element, water element, and fire element, and the air element. So this analogy. Sayyata pi bhikkave dakko gogatakowa gogatakanteva siva gaving vaditva chatum mahapate bilaso vibhajita, the pativibhajita nisinno assa. Right. This part also.
It's as if a deft butcher or butcher's apprentice were to kill a cow and sit down at the crossroads with the meat cut into chops.
Right. Okay. Don't be upset about the analogy. So that's maybe the analogies are there to just to understand. Okay. Then here, so then as we learn the other parts, evan ko bhikkave bhikkhu imameva kayang yata, like the same way we see this body as it is. Atti masmin ka. Okay, the same thing it's repeating. That's why it's not mentioned here. And then the other part means iti ajjatangva kaye kayanupassiviyarati. Seeing this side of the body as it is. The other side, the other bodies also as it is. And the ajjata bahiddhava kaya kayanupassiviyarati. Both bodies seeing is like these four elements. And samudaya dhammanupassiva kayasmin viharati. Seeing this body is something arising due to reasons, causes, and falling apart when that reasons are no longer there. Seeing rising and falling thing instead of a permanent thing. Like there is a clear difference in this. You can think that, see that how our vision change when we see something rising and falling. The next time when you see a police light, like that blue and red lights, instead of just seeing it, just being afraid of the vehicle or am I in trouble? Of course, maybe, but just while looking at it, just look like this. See that red light also blinking separately, blue light also blinking separately, but we see like a light moving. You understand what I'm saying? So likewise, when we see something moving, it creates a different story. But when we see that rising and falling, it let go that the story which creates in our mind. So remember, this is a well beyond teaching rather than just surfing on the shore or the surfing on the sea. So the Buddha's teaching, there is another analogy. It says like Buddha's teaching is like ocean. So it's not like a huge heap right once you step it. It's a gradually go deep and deep. So likewise, so and it's a total different story in this. While we are surfing, it's nice, so beautiful in that way, but when we go to the depth, it has own beauty in that way. Okay, so seeing the rising and falling in both, first seeing this side also like a body with four elements, the other side also like four elements, and seeing both bodies like elements and seeing the rising and falling. Then saying what happens when we do so. Atti kayo tiva panasa sati pachupattita. When you do so, in your body, your mindfulness well established. Yavadeva jnanamattai. That we are established for what? For the fully understanding, for your full knowledge, for wisdom Patisatimattaya anissutocha viharati. It will be well established and it won't vibrate, like it won't lose, like wherever it arises you have the awareness and mindfulness. So, and nacha kinchi loke upadhyati. What you get from that, your mind won't attach to anything. So you have your freedom, your own in each moment. Each moment is a well present moment to you. No attachment to past, no attachment to future, just non-attached present. So a non-attached present with no defilements, and it leads to the fully enlightenment. So when you think about something related to past, you know that you do that, it's just a memory, it's just a thought, it's just rising in this moment. You are not traveling through the time. When you think in something related to future, you know, it's just a thought, it's rising and falling in this moment. Other than that, you are not traveling through the time and experience that and come here. You know what I'm saying, right? So can anyone say anything which can happen tomorrow 9 a.m. without bringing any data from your past? No, we can say. If someone says sun will rise, how do you know? Storm will come, how do you know? Whatever. So everything based on our memory, based on our past, so that the future is like the future which create in our mind is a reflection of our past data. While saying this, I'll add some another insight. Do not think always the toxic things, negative things about your life, or don't associate with so negative or toxic people. Why? That is the data you have in you to create your future. So if you are a person always hanging around with the people who they are so negative, you have only that data, then your mind can generate something beautiful about your future. So that's something to be mindful. So if when your mind does not attach, it's always a present moment. So there is a nice sutta called Majjhya Sutta. It's a very deep teaching. One day we can learn on that also. So up to this, okay, if you may have a couple of questions while we learning, okay, I will go through once more with another small document, and then you will have a kind of a full understanding. With that, I'm allowing you to ask questions. Right.
Yeah, just you're basically talking about anicca,
Right.
Impermanence, right?
Oh, correct.
You didn't mention the changing because it's rising and disappearing, but in between it's changing as well.
Right.
And that applies to everything.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Every conditioned thing has three things. Uppado panyayati, we can see it's rising. Vayo panyayati, it's falling. And titasa anyatattam panyayati, in between it's changing. So that part is not mentioned in the sutta, so that's why I just said the falling and rising and the falling. Okay.
Thank you,
clear?
Bhante.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Right. So in the four elements, Kayanupassana, this is Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta, we learn the Kayanupassana, breathing or the Anapanasati, on posture of the Iriyapata, clear comprehension of the Sampajana, body parts of the meditation on 32 parts of the body, and the four elements, that's what we're learning today. And then the symmetric contemplations, we learn this part also. So then, in the body, we learn that there are earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. And then when we say the earth element, so it's the solidity and the hardness. So it includes kesa, hair, loma. This is not in order. I will share a note in order later. This is just for example, hair, nails, teeth, bone, flesh. nerves and organs and structure. So this is only earth element. We see this as earth element instead of framing as self. And then in the water element, the liquidity is the main thing actually, and then that soluble quality. In there are the other parts, but in here just mention blood, salvia, sweat, and urine and bodily fluids. And same like the water in the outside, the inside. So that the in there water means that it's like, do not think it's like H2O likewise. Just think that the soluble thing like out and in the in. And then and then the fire element, so heat and the temperature. So it's like body warmth, digestive heat, fever, and the aging heat. So aging also mentioned as a something related to heat, so that metabolism and things also part of that. And heat rises and passes away, it's subject to change. And when it comes to air element, the motion and the pressure, in breath and out breath, bodily movements, so that for the body movement, air help. And the internal winds means that the wind like comes from out and from the goes down. I don't know whether there is a proper word for that. Later someone tell me that what we call the fart. So likewise. And movement without a control, and no, it's also not a permanent thing. And then we see that internally this body and externally others' body is also like the same, both internally and the inside externally, same elements everywhere, no essential difference. And then that's when we reflect it's the impermanence, we see that it's not mine and it's not I am, or it's not a myself. So that's what we do that, and as a meditation we will learn and try to practice it. So any questions up to that, please?
Bante, I have a question. What is in Pali, what is called the earth element?
Patavi, Patavi, maybe Tha.
Padvidatu, yeah?
Yes, Patavidhatu.
Thank
Seems
you.
like you have a reference.
Thank you,
Good.
Bante.
Good.
Bante, this is more for a clarification. So from this teaching of the four great elements, we should see our body as these four parts or elements, and not attach to me, not I am, and not myself. To see the body as it is. So I remember one Bante had said to me one time, you know, as women, we wear makeup. And he had said, you know, when you're putting on the makeup in the morning, as long as there's no attachment, like don't attach to, you know, I need to beautify myself, I need to look a certain way, and to see the body, like practice this four great elements to get a better understanding. So to detach from the body. So even though maybe wearing makeup, but not looking at it as, you know, an attachment. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but
yeah. So in there, so I will add a lot of things to that. So why can't you make up, and why can't you beautify yourself? Of course you can, if you are not a nun. If you are a nun, of course you can't. So the reason is, so someone living a lay life mean that they are associating with sensual pleasures. So you have to admit that truth. So you have to accept that. And remember, I'm not a nun, I'm not a monk, and I'm beautifying myself. Our body, what we show at the moment, in this moment, is not the actual body, what we are showing to this world, whether you do makeup or not. Why I'm saying, think that the actual body does not have self-cleaning. We clean this body. Actual body does not have auto haircut. We do it. Actual body does not have auto toothbrush. We do it. Actual body does not have like we shave our face and so nothing. So think that if we like that, how much different we are, what we are showing at the moment. So now we are upset. If someone upset about doing, is it bad if I put makeups? So that this also a kind of a makeup. If we live in a kind of a place where the others like do not do anything what I said now. To that place where we have done a makeup. Right. So now beautify yourself and do everything. So, but you have a 4 days or 1 day per month to let go all those sensual pleasures and practice like like imitating an arahant or the enlightened monk or the nun. And that day we don't do that. So with that, while saying that, I will add another thing. So when, as yes, as that Bhante said, you can wear those things. Actually, instead of thinking that I'm not attached into that, it's better to see that the whole three things, every conditioned thing has asada or the gratification. That's why you use it. And every conditioned thing has the suffering part because of the impermanence. And every conditioned thing we can let go that the attachment to that. So there are three levels in that. So when you use something because you love that, instead of rejecting that, it's like you are holding from this hand, think that you are asking someone to go from this hand, saying go, but on the other hand you are tightly holding that person's hand, but you are not looking at it, but you're saying please go, please go. It does not work in that way because you actually love that, attach that. Just see, okay, this is the gratification, this is why I have attached, even though there are dangers that the impermanence creates sufferings to come. When you see the gratification, instead of framing I in that, you can see the whole frame of that gratification has. So an example, think that for some reason you love a delicious cake. When you eat that, instead of like asking I don't like but still eating, it's like a pain, it's like it's something that does not work at all. So instead of that, eat that delicious cake while tasting and experiencing whole taste in each thing in the tongue buds, like tasting every feeling, and see the what is the frame of that gratification. Believe me, when you eat like that, you will see taste as taste, and you can see the story which create in your mind as a separate thing. Then you realize, oh, it's just a taste, nothing else. That the other story, that's made out of my head. That does not have it is not in this cake. And when you understand this, then you can, when you separate that, you can just see the rising and falling of the taste, and you can let go the attachment, because you know that story does not in this cake. When we understand that, you can let go the gratification, and you can see the danger, the impermanency, and then it's easy to see because in your story it's really hard to let it go, because it's like your story is everything. But when you see that story is a mind creation, when you say that this is just a body feeling, and it's true, that's rising and falling, that's the end of the problems. So that's easy. So for the answer of that, see gratification as gratification while using it, and see the danger of that. That's how the Vishaka, one of the most noble lay women, used her stuff. She was a billionaire at that time. She had a jewel. She wore it at the weddings also. It's like a peacock, that whole jewel. It starting from head to toe. It's a like a lux, it's like gold. I don't know the diamond, but there were so many gems and everything contained in it. So it's a huge thing, and it's really difficult to hold it even. So she wore that. So while she's going to to a wedding, she just heard that one of a monk is sick and she want to go and take care of the Bhante, and he went and helped with the medicine and things. So at that time, since she can't do it with wearing the jewel, so she gave it to the servant, but servant forgot it to bring back. But Anand, no, he's not Arahant even, monk Anand kept it aside until she comes, and then after she realized, oh, Bhante touched this, she had a feeling like, after Bhante touched this, I shouldn't take it back. I should sell this and make a monastery. That's how the Purvaram, if you have ever been to India, you know where's the Purvaram foundation still there. She made from that jewel that monastery has 1,000 rooms, a 2-story building, 500 the first floor, and second floor another 500. So that much of expensive things she used even while attained to the first state of the enlightenment. So it's not a wrong thing. Just accept you are doing it. When you make up, happily do your makeup. So that's the one what I want to share. Sorry for saying so much of things.
Thank you, Bante. No, it's really important to know this because there's so much sensual pleasures, right? And like you said, they see the danger. Like, you know, you can get carried away. Yes, you can wear makeup, but then you can also take it to next level. Like I see where I work, a lot of the young girls, you know, more and more makeup, and it's just overwhelming. So I think it's having control as well.
Yeah, that's true. When we were in that age, if someone asks us, hey, reduce that, we feel like, oh, they are so old, that's why they can't understand. Honestly, we can't understand after Gen Z's words, their feelings, they are so different than us. So we have to admit that true. I know you know this better than me because you have children. To wind up, actually I want to do a meditation. So just to have a kind of idea how to do a meditation in this, can you all come to the best posture? You can just concentrate for like 5 minutes maybe, and take a couple of deep breath ins and breathe outs and reflect. Just go through, scan your body with deep breath ins and breathe outs to bring your attention to your body. In our body, there are 20 solid elements. This is what we are going to do. Like, think that you are sitting and your body, you are just allowing these each body parts to connect with the place which it really belongs. As an example, while you are sitting, think that you are just allowing your hair to fall onto the earth and let it compost it to earth in your mind. Likewise, all the other body parts one by one, allow it to turn it to the soil and turn it to earth, thinking impermanence of it. And then water element to let it to connect with the water, air element to let it connect with the air, and heat element let it to connect with the heat. And then it's like you are creating kind of a neutral feeling which do not attach to your body, and it allows you to see the impermanence. So this is one way of doing this element meditation. In my body, it has hair and body hair. In your mind, imagine that you're cross-legged and sitting, and let that hair and body hair to fall into the earth and decompose and let it to turn into the earth. Hair and body hair, impermanent, impermanent, impermanent. Hair and body hair, not me, not mine, not myself. So each and every body part, when I say, then let it to fall into the earth and see its impermanence and see its non-self. Nails, let it to fall into earth and its impermanence, not me, not mine, not myself. Teeth also, let it to connect with the earth, turn to the earth, it's impermanent, impermanent, impermanent. Not me, not mine, not myself. Skin and flesh, the muscles and the nerves, let all those to fall into the body. Now it's like only the skeleton. It's impermanent. It's turning into earth. It's not me. It's not mine. It's not myself. Then let all the bones also to fall into the ground, turn into earth, soil. Bones are impermanent, impermanent, impermanent. Bones are not me, not mine, not myself. Then let the other parts of the body, kidneys, heart, liver, spleen, lungs, intestines, contents of the stomach, even the feces, brain, everything to turn into earth. It's impermanent, impermanent, impermanent. Patavi dhatu, earth element, not I, not mine, not myself. In the same way, all the liquid elements, water element, flame, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tears, grease, salvia, mucus, all the other soluble things, urine, let it to connect with the water, turn it to water. Apo dhatu, water element, not me, not mine, not myself. And the body warmth, this body has body warmth because of that heat which create the aging, heat which help to digest, heat which create the fever and whatever the heat. Let it to turn into heat and disappear. Heat is impermanent, impermanent, impermanent. Heat is not mine, not me or myself. This body has downward moving winds, in-breath and out-breath, wind in the stomach and intestine, wind which help for the movements and the tension. Let all this wind to turn into the mass wind and disappear. Wind is not me, not mine, not myself. So every element impermanent, impermanent, impermanent. Every element not me, not mine, or not myself. This creates the freedom in the mind, and experience that freedom and be that freedom. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Open your eyes. This is a powerful meditation. Then you can add the space element and the conscious element. So there is another way of doing the conscious element in the Bahudhatuka Sutta. Then you will see that all the problems what we are suffering at the moment are no longer there. Not because of you got a solution. That problems do not have any roots to stay. Think that you wear that virtual reality glasses, 9D or so, then you are in that and you are experiencing. You may have seen that people struggling and fighting, and in that game, so true. Like you are in a dream. In that dream, you are suffering a lot. So you get a chance to wake up. Then you see dream as a dream. You know that that virtual thing is a virtual thing. It's not a reality. So then you can mindfully be in the virtual world, because we need to be in the sensual pleasure virtual world, kind of a virtual world, and you can be mindful. It's like you can be in the problem, but in the same time you can be the third person and see the problem, like you give that philosophical answers to your friends and family when they have a problem. When you have a problem, you do not, but then you can give the same answers like that to your problems also. Let's share the blessings, and today just if you can help with Google, putting Google reviews to our web page, that will helpful, because we are now we got a Google ads. It's like a grant actually. It's nothing pay. We don't need to pay, but it helps us to put some reviews about our programs and things. It gives the idea how what is the programs and everything. I will share the link with you. Right, let's share the blessings. Say sadhu, 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 sadhu. Today, as a group, we learned a nice sutta, part of the foundation of mindfulness, the 4 elements sutta. It's a wonderful sutta Buddha teaches us. So we accumulated many merits. Let's share all these good karma, good blessings, good merits with all the divinely powers. And if there are any private guardian to you, with them, with your past relatives, and with our teacher, Pinnath Loku Swamin Wahanse, and all the monastic monks who live all around the world and practicing these nice teachings and sharing it with the community, and with our wonderful volunteers and all the Dhamma friends who gathered today. May you all be well. May you all be happy. May your all good wishes come true, and may you all able to experience the blissfulness and the happiness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.